question I get asked all the time is, Luca, how can I speak better and more confidently and faster? And the simple reply is, in order to speak well, you have to speak. You have to get into the habit of speaking regularly. And there are many ways and many circumstances, many people you can talk to. But one very efficient thing that you can do, and you can do it directly at your place if you have an internet connection and a nice computer, is simply to have a language exchange. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a few but extremely important and efficient things to keep in mind to have a fantastic language exchange. And remember, there's always a final super cool tip at the end of the video, so stay here until the end. If you want to create a great, sustainable, efficient routine for language exchange, the first step that you have to do is make decisions. Take a piece of paper and write down why you want to do this. It has to be clear to you, and when. Put a starting date and tell yourself, from this moment on, I'm going to start taking language exchanges every single week. Maybe you find yourself in some parts of the world where meeting people and talking to them face to face is kind of problematic, especially if you're looking for foreigners. Or maybe you do live in a cosmopolitan city where there's a chance of meeting a lot of people, but you simply don't want to, and you want to be at the comfort of your own place and talk through Skype or through the internet in general. So the next thing you want to do is to find platforms where you can find native speakers to talk to. And as usual, the internet offers a deluge, a wealth of possibilities. But here's the thing. The problem is that there are so many platforms that offer the service that it's difficult to choose a good one. So make sure that you invest the time and find one good platform that you like it, be it because it's user-friendly, be it because you like it visually. The important thing is you find just one and use that, and possibly move on to another one. Oh, and by the way, in the description box you will find a list of cool platforms that I've used or that I highly recommend. So now you have compelling reasons, a date of reference, and then on top of that you found your favorite platform. What is the next step? So the next step is to build a very cool profile, because that's what people are going to take a look at, and based on that they're going to make a decision whether they want to have a language exchange with you or not. A good profile has to be compelling, short, simple, possibly in 2 or 3 other languages. Remember, it's really important. So having a good profile is fantastic, but it's not enough. People might contact you or people might not contact you. So if people don't contact you, which is possible, you have to contact them. And in that regard, you have to send a very cool message. I don't know if it has ever happened to you that you were trying to contact as many people as possible on other platforms maybe, and you created the same stock message that you sent to everybody. So in that regard, don't make that mistake. What you should do is to look into other people's profiles to look for 1 or 2 details and then use that as a hook, because that gives the impression that you've actually read the profile and you got interested in that profile instead of sending the same message to everyone. Remember, the profile, building your own profile is important, but also sending people a compelling message, a personal message, is really important to get into a cool connection. So imagine that you sent this cool message, the person replied, and you're finally going to have your language exchange. Now what you want to do is don't focus too much on the language, but focus on communication, focus on interaction, focus on cooperation. That's what counts the most. The first impression is always the strongest and the most important. So it's not about the quantity of words, the cool expressions that you use, the fact that you're using the language, but focus on speaking, smiling, interacting, asking, being curious. When the person talks, listen attentively. That creates a very positive environment, and that is going to work wonders for your language learning skills and his or her language learning skills. Whatever happens, always make sure that you record the conversation. This is really important and it's easy to do. Nowadays, you can use a mobile phone, maybe your iPad, your computer. So whether you have a conversation on the internet through Skype or other software programs, or you have it in real life, always make sure that you have a recording device with you. Remember, recording the information is really important because later you can take a look at it, you can take a listen, or you can even see it if you're recording video, and that will be really useful to further memorize the information that is being processed there. So here you have it. With these 6 simple tips, just get into a language exchange, just jump into it, don't think about it too much, and you will see what enormous difference it can make. It can be free, it can be efficient. If you find the right language partner, you can do it on a weekly basis, maybe a couple of times a week. And if you do it well and you find this good environment, good positive environment of cooperation, of stimulation, of inspiration, you will be able to do this for a long time, and it will work wonders for your language learning skills. It will prepare you for real conversations in real life. As always, I have written an extensive article about it, and I read it out loud, and I have extra tips, extra video demonstrations on the blog, so please click on the link in the description box. Head over the blog and let's have a very constructive and cool cooperation to build our language skills in any language. So, as usual, I have one question and one cool tip. So the question goes like this. Have you ever had a language exchange, and what are your best strategies when it comes to communicating, interacting, for example, through Skype or through another software program? How did that go? What did you learn? And failures and victories. Please share all your stories in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to reply, and hopefully we can have a constructive conversation and we can learn from one another. So, time for one final extra tip. So always make sure that when you talk, when you get your point across, whatever you're talking about, the person who's listening to you takes notes and writes down and provides the feedback at the end of your language exchange. In this way, you can then take a look, you can listen to the recording, and you can take a look at the feedback that was given to you, that is written, that you can actually see, and you can learn from it. So always make sure that you go back to what you did for the sake of learning, because when you take a look at it again without having to speak, because you're just listening to the recording, you're attacking the piece of information from another angle. You're not stressed. You can just focus on learning and extracting the information that was given to you while you were talking. This always makes a huge difference. And if you can, maybe reduce the amount of language exchanges that you do twice a week, but always make sure that you absorb the information later by listening 48 hours after each language exchange.